We kick off the second half of the season in a very exciting way, maybe the most fun opponent we have on the schedule, because we get to take on one of the most premier and talked about freshmen in all of the nation, JJ Comella, one half of the Comella twins. And meanwhile, on our side, it is Judgment Day for KAJ RYLEY and his future as an NIU quarterback, because without being explicitly said word for word, it is very much believed that if things don't change today against Minnesota, things will be changed going into next week as JJ Comella and this Minnesota offense start with the football. It's been a phenomenal start to the career of Comella. 14 touchdowns through the air, 2 on the ground, and a 4-1 record for Minnesota as we send the blitz, and Comella gets it out, completed, and a first down already. 2 plays in, past midfield as the handoff. It's star running back Cam Wallace taking the carry and setting up 3rd down and 9 as Comella steps up in the face of pressure, and Bakari Swade was sent on the blitz, but we couldn't get there, and Comella runs for a first down. Now a handoff, no play action. Comella fakes it, and he gets it out to the tight end, and down inside the 5, Julian Johnson to the 4, handing it off in a picture perfect drive, touchdown, as now we go to the NIU offense. And will it be for the last time we send KAJ RYLEY out to start? It's not necessarily about wins and losses for this team. It's not if you don't beat Minnesota, you're done. It's if you don't start playing like a team player, if you don't start playing better. It's not only just he hasn't been able to do well when not targeting Leanne, it's hurting the team. Targeting Leanne is only part of it, but getting your best players the football helps you win. And if you're not doing that, you're hurting our chances of winning, and you're not playing good. You look at the stats between KAJ RYLEY's 3 games throwing to Leanne and his 3 without throwing to Leanne. His stats are just worse. He is playing worse, and it's because he's being petty, and it's because he's being just annoying. Really, that's all we can really say. He's just being immature. And Minnesota has immediately taken this first quarter into their control as Comella back in the red zone and a completion. It's goal to go all over again as we are running out of time in this first quarter. Less than a minute to play is down to the 1-yard line. 3rd and goal, handing it off, and the NIU defense, nice stand, and it pushes them back for a loss of 4. They'll settle for a field goal, and it's an early 10-0 hole as Minnesota has dominated the time of possession. RYLEY takes over, and KAJ throws it out. Roxy Kennedy with the completion to him. Roxy's seen his pass production go way up in the last 3 weeks. Any surprise why, as here he is again, as Roxy Kennedy gets a block from Warren, and Kennedy to the 45-yard line. And when Roxy isn't running it well, he is still being a threat through the air as KAJ rolling out. He's stopping. He's finding an open man. It's Jackson Warren to the red zone. And Warren has us to the 16. Now a handoff. Lee Orlando gets a block. And there's a flag down as Orlando gets to the 1. And that's going to be coming back. Costly holds have hurt this team all year. Let's try this again. Back us up to the 25-yard line. 1st and 19. The bubble screen out. Abominu makes a man miss. And there you go. Get the penalty yards back and a couple of more. Still need a little bit more to get us to where we were with that Lee Orlando play as RYLEY rolling and throws it last second. And Jalen Leanne with a 4-yard catch. That might be his 1 catch of the day that he gets, and it was in desperation as it's goal to go. 2nd and goal for RYLEY. Gets it out to Kennedy. Stiff arm down to the 1. 3rd and goal. It's about a half a yard away. RYLEY is hit as he's throwing. It's incomplete. 4th and goal, and you know we're going for 1 yard out. RYLEY throws it. Abominu, touchdown. And the score for NIU that they desperately needed, because now, after taking a couple of minutes in this second quarter, they have finally made this a little bit more competitive. The first drive was poor. Second drive, a whole lot better. And a nice job there from Masarena Alaya in coverage in stopping the Minnesota offense right where they started their drive as RYLEY taking over. Jackson Warren is going to just lunge himself. Don't know if that was the intended result there, but regardless, first down, no matter how unorthodox it is, it works. KAJ RYLEY scrambling, gets a block from Roxy, and KAJ sliding out of bounds to the 38-yard line and a handoff. Kennedy is going to shrug off a tackle, but he is swarmed by the Minnesota defense, who does have a good run-stopping unit. This is going to have to be a game that we probably need to win in the air, and that's not going to be how you win it. 4th down and 8, and in that no man's land, they were going to maybe go for it or try to draw an offsides to get into field goal range. Instead, they go backwards, false start. Now you can't do anything, and you got to punt it away. At least you back Minnesota up inside their own 15, and a tackle for loss puts them even further back. 2nd and 11 as the handoff, another tackle for loss, and a couple of defenders get in there. 3rd and 14, Comella on the keeper, another one, a tackle for loss. That was a great job on the run defense for the whole team as Minnesota has to punt and we take over in phenomenal field position. RYLEY backing up quite a bit and just gets hit as he's throwing. It's 4th and 8. This time they are going to go for it and get the snap off. RYLEY rolling, and he's got an open man. He finds him. It's Miles Kendrick. 1st down and a big play from KAJ RYLEY as they go to play fake, and they got a wide open man down the field again. It's Jackson Warren inside the 5, hit down at the 1. Just 50 seconds to go in the half as RYLEY delivers to a wide open Roxy Kennedy, touchdown, and Minnesota down by 4 with just 40 seconds to go in the half. And what a job in the 2nd quarter from the Huskies as Comella underneath, he finds Johnson the tight end, sheds a tackle and gets out of bounds for a gain of 7. 35 seconds to play as Comella is going to throw underneath, and there's the tight end Johnson again. He's been finding him quite a lot and finding both tight ends. They're both getting in on the action, and little by little they're working it down the field as that's another completion and another 1st down. Minnesota finally had a timeout to just 10 seconds to play. That pass incomplete. 8 seconds, and they're going to go for the field goal now. Long kick, 58 yards, just barely sneaks out of the left upright, and it is no good. That means a 14-10 lead over what would be a very substantial upset, I would say. I know both teams got 4 wins, and I know both teams are unranked, but Minnesota has been rolling this season behind JJ Comella, and it's been very much dysfunctional on the other side as RYLEY. You can see he's got Jalen Leanne wide open. He doesn't throw to him, but he does eventually find Roxy out of the backfield. And it's plays like that where you get the right result doing the wrong thing. Those are plays that you look at the box score, you look at the stat sheet, you don't really realize just how bad a play like that is, even though it got the right result as Leanne in coverage incomplete. And then you do throw to Leanne there, and it's in coverage. RYLEY on 3rd down and 12. Well, speaking of wide open men, it's Jackson Warren who left him wide open, 49 yards. And KAJ RYLEY has his 3rd touchdown of the game. And maybe the best game of KAJ RYLEY's year, and it's coming at a very good time against a very good opponent as the run. Oh, here he goes. It's Wallace off the edge, and he's got to be tracked down inside the 15. And Minnesota not wanting to let us run away with this one as Wallace leaning on him. He is their star as Comella sneaks it for the 1st down. Last time they were at the 1-yard line, they got stopped just like that by a Miles Graham play in the backfield. 4 yards out this time. He gets it right side, and no stop this time around. They'll score, and the 2-point conversion now. Throw outside. Nice defense from Bakari Swain. It's 21-16. And NIU still on top. Run game hasn't done much. But look at Roxy Kennedy running over a man as he's more than made up for it, though, in the passing game. Can't say Lee Orlando's had the same amount of success today as more poor plays as this Minnesota run defense. It's their strength. We have to be able to beat them through the air. And KAJ RYLEY is trying to do too much here. Come on, KAJ. What are you doing? It's 3rd and long way out. And you're not going to come anywhere close. Gotta concede possession. And again, it's plays like that where you're not the hero. You're not the star on this play. Just let it go. Fight another down. Play it safe as Comella, good field position, one-on-one, and Holton almost had the pick. We'll still take the 3 and out, though. We'll be more than happy with that as the punt deep is going to be let bounce inside the 10, and it is a phenomenal bounce. 1-yard line, and now KAJ hands it off Orlando. It's a safety. and Minnesota gets the 2 points that they missed on the conversion, and then gets the ball back right at midfield. Just in one play, they found themselves right back in NIU territory, and Wallace is getting going in a big way in this second half. He's already got a couple of really nice runs, just like this one. Wallace making a move, shots on tackle, and Wallace, what a run, touchdown. Minnesota takes the lead with just 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. And now, can we get our run game going as Roxy is going to get about 15 yards on the play. Second down and 10 as RYLEY to the air. He's moving right. He's got an open man on the run. And it's Miles Kendrick been in the man coverage. And I will say the offensive line's been doing a good job of letting RYLEY create a little bit more, as now back to the air. He's backing up a long way. Pass down the field is incomplete. Abominu had his hands on it, but it was a tough grab to make. Now third and long. He'll find an open man. And he missed it. And it looks like it's not even gonna matter anyway. It was a flag, another holding. It's been the same guy both times. But the interesting decision from Minnesota, they declined the penalty and instead let us kick a field goal where you could tell if we had to get backed up 10 yards and we didn't get anything, we were not hitting a field goal from 58 yards. So Minnesota didn't want to risk us hitting a big play for a first down. They just are content letting us pull within 1 point as Minnesota wrapping up this third quarter. A first down, 30 seconds to play in the third as Cam Wallace gets a run, cuts to the outside. Elias trying to chase him down, and he does. But Cam Wallace has been phenomenal. Last play of the third. Here goes Wallace again. Big lane opening up, and they're inside the 10-yard line. Wallace is at over 160 as now we shoot the gap. Tackle for a loss, and it's third and goal as Comella to the air, wide open. It's Cam Wallace, and he can do it by ground, do it by air, and he does it everywhere for the touchdown. Still, though, it's a 1-point game as RYLEY gets the screen off Elmira. Goes down for a loss of 2, but with that field goal we got last drive, a touchdown, an extra point from Minnesota makes it an 8-point game, so still well within sight to make this possible. But Roxy Kennedy on 3rd and 2 loses yards, and we punt on 4th and 4. If it was 4th and 1, maybe we go for it, but we'll trust our defense here with a tackle for loss. 3rd down and 12 is Comella to the air, outside, and it's Johnson again. Whenever it's been a pass play, it's been Julian Johnson, the tight end, who's beaten us badly, as other plays like this, it should have been just a no gain, but Frank Stye couldn't bring him down. He sheds the tackle, gets a first down. Here's Johnson, the tight end, for 3 more yards to set up 3rd down. 5 minutes to play as they're in long distance field goal range, and it's incomplete. And here is that long field goal from 52. We missed from 58 earlier, but this one's drilled in a 2-score lead as Minnesota now playing with control. They could just tee up, and they can put RYLEY on the ground like that. 2nd down and long. Flag is down. And this is brutal. A hold. Well, this is not going to be the first time we're backed up with 30 yards to go. This time around, more so a holding penalty rather than RYLEY running backwards for a loss of 20 as RYLEY goes play action. Finds Roxy Kennedy crossing over the middle. He lined up in the slot. And Roxy, hey, we'll take 26 yards to set up 3rd down and 7 as they go underneath. Gary Givens with the completion to him. He's been seeing his targets go down over the weeks, but he comes up with a big play there. 3rd down and 10 once more as RYLEY looking, running. RYLEY keeping for a gain of 9. 4th down and 1. Huge play to try to keep this game going as he'll hand it off. Kennedy nowhere to go. Just stonewalled. And Minnesota, that might be enough to put this game away as they get another first down with the 2-minute warning. Handing it off. It's Wallace. How about another one in the red zone? As Comella, they are going to go with a little shovel pass, and it's Johnson, the tight end, touchdown, Minnesota. Unnecessary but impressive, as it's 42-24, and not too long ago, this was a 25-24 game, as with under a minute to play. And KAJ RYLEY just trying to rack up maybe some garbage time statistics here as RYLEY is going to throw underneath the Kennedy, who's going to run through, man. And I will say I'm really impressed with what Roxy Kennedy has done through the air today. 6 seconds to play. Last play of the game, basically, as RYLEY is going to roll. And RYLEY, oh, well, look who it is. Jalen Lehan with the completion to him. And that is only his 2nd catch of what will be the entirety of the game 42-24 is your final. Cam Wallace goes for 4 touchdowns on the day and 179 yards, as both teams put up similar yardage, but Minnesota was able to do what was really something that not a lot of teams have been able to do this season. That is stop a prolific ground attack. In response, KAJ RYLEY did throw for 385 yards and 3 touchdowns with no picks, but you could see where there was still some missed opportunities. Like, it's still impressive that, you know, you threw for that many yards despite openly ignoring certain opportunities and openly making things a little bit more difficult than it needed to be. But Roxy Kennedy, Jackson Warren both go over 100 yards receiving, and Jalen Leanne gets basically all of his production in the final play of the game in garbage time, which means it is yet another poor game from Jalen Leanne. And we'll have some news on the quarterback situation after this recruiting session and going through everything. But let's talk about some wide receivers, actually. I haven't, really brought up much wide receiver talent for this potential NIU recruiting class because of the fact that we do have Jalen Leanne, we do have Miles Kendrick, we brought in Abominu, and we really like what this team has at the receiver room. But how about a 3-star receiver, 5'11", Enrique Saunders, who is a really fun little player. Someone that if you're going to find a diamond in the rough for this team, I think head coach Alejandro Easy, a former wide receiver, would be able to do that. And for Saunders being 5'11" and a very average at best athlete is the way to put it. I think that's fair. This is a guy who's not going to be running 4.3s, 4.4s. He's probably going to run more like a 4.5 40 at 5'11", which is not an ideal athletic profile, with also somebody who I'd say has inconsistent hands at times, and those are the negatives on him. But like, why is he a 3-star prospect to begin with? What are the positives? Well, I do think this is a guy who's a threat at all 3 levels. I think where he thrives best is just running down the middle of the field, whether that's a deep post, a crosser, drags. I think when you get him in the middle of the field, that's where he is his best. That doesn't mean he can't play on the outside and run to the outside, because I do think in general he's a little impressive when it comes to his rack ability. When he's able to make guys miss, he's kind of shifty, he's more quicker than fast, he's got even some surprising contact ability to him when that comes to contact balance, and the ability to play through contact, and the ability to even inflict some of his own. You've seen a little stiff arm highlight from him as well. He is able to do a little bit of everything. This kind of feels like a role that maybe NIU could use, because when it's not Jalen Leanne, when it's not him catching the football every single time, we don't really have another kind of go-to player. Miles Kendrick is more so the big play threat vertical guy. Abominu more of the burner type. Gary Givens is more a safe possession guy, but he's not really all that explosive or dynamic. And while Saunders, I wouldn't call him explosive, I would say he provides us a little bit more upside in making some incredible plays. He does maximize his frame and make the occasional highlight. You see in this game a diving catch and a one-handed catch, both for touchdowns. So I really like what Enrique Saunders brings to the table here, and I think could be a potential future number 3, maybe even number 2 receiver on this team, to be a little bit of a co-star to Jalen Leanne and maybe take some of the pressure off of him. And when you have a quarterback like KAJ RYLEY, if you ever get another guy like him who doesn't want to throw to Jalen Leanne, well, Enrique Saunders won't be a bad number 2 to go to. But it's about time that we reach that point where I said Judgment Day was coming for KAJ RYLEY, and judgment will be passed upon him for what he has done over the past 4 weeks. And even though his Minnesota game statistically was impressive, it's just not enough to be something that overcomes what he has already done, which is he still doesn't have the ability to get over his pettiness, the ability to be mature, the ability to be a competent leader, the ability to give this team the best chance to win, which means we got to turn to somebody else. We have 2 other quarterback options, that being Roy Tiffin and J.D. DeVoe. But we'll go into the conference game regardless of which one of the 2 will be. It will be one of those 2, as we have KAJ RYLEY shut down for this game and for the foreseeable future. Now let's see what this team can do with a new man in charge, and it wasn't maybe the guy that you expected, because for a long time Roy Tiffin was the favorite to be this team's future quarterback if it wasn't KAJ RYLEY. But it's J.D. DeVoe getting the start today, as DeVoe is more so a rushing threat. And look at the first play of the game, a designed play to just get Jalen Leanne a catch for 3 yards to let him know that, hey, we're on your side and we want you on the team. If we were given an ultimatum, we're choosing Jalen Leanne every single time, as Leanne with the catch, 2 on the day, already the same amount that he had all last game as DeVoe option. This is why we choose DeVoe, because he can do a little bit of running. We already have one of the best rushing attacks in the conference, and how about doubling down on a DeVoe option, flips it out, and it's Jalen Leanne on the carry now, and he's got 7 yards. As now from the 23rd down and 2, DeVoe is rolling left, and J.D. DeVoe is running, and J.D. DeVoe, touchdown all the way, and what a start for the new offense. That is going to be potentially what this team has needed. Just a complete reset on the offensive side of the football, where we get a quarterback with some mobility to help out the offensive line, an extra rushing threat to help out the running backs, and somebody to just get Jalen Leanne the dang ball. As taking on this UMass team, we didn't even get to really intro them much, or really much of anything, because it was so fast moving and effective on offense. Quarterback Julian Duggar throws incomplete. That was just a flat out drop in the rain, as NIU takes over, and DeVoe is taking his time. He's throwing, and even when he's covered, he'll throw to Leanne. 3rd down and 11 for DeVoe. It's a design rollout, plays like this that we can actually use, as Leanne wide open and a completion to him, and you can see what the target is early and often. That is Leanne's, I believe, like 4th target and 4 touches overall, because you also got the carry, as DeVoe on the run, and that pass low. The negatives with DeVoe is his arm in terms of accuracy is by far the lowest of all the people in the quarterback room. We are willing to sacrifice that, and if you want to know why DeVoe over Tiffin, well, Tiffin is your prototypical backup quarterback, that very high floor, low ceiling, weaker armed, not mobile, just a guy who does what you need him to, but nothing more. J.D. DeVoe, while being far less accurate and also having a similarly weak arm, at least provides us the upside of a rushing attack for a run-first offense. So we wanted to go with the upside there. And also, if you want to throw into the prestige of the things here, Roy Tiffin was a 2-star player, and J.D. DeVoe was a 3-star player. It was like that for a reason. DeVoe provides us with a little bit more excitement and upside as handing it off. Lee Orlando had a slow day last week, and there's a nice play for 10 yards as we take the football back in the second quarter. DeVoe throwing, Miles Kendrick, completion for the 1st down. So be prepared to maybe see some frustrating levels of inaccuracy for J.D. DeVoe, but at the very least, even if he doesn't always properly do the right thing, he is at least trying to do the right thing, unlike some guys on this team. As DeVoe throwing, there's Jalen Leanne, and on play action, Leanne has another completion to the top player on this team, and Roxy Kennedy, speaking of top players, running through him, man, and Roxy for 7 yards. We'll go play action to him now as DeVoe over the middle, and guess who? Jalen Leanne, and he's down inside the 5 to the 3. Leanne's got 5 catches and make it 6. Leanne, touchdown. Jalen Leanne has already almost eclipsed his catch total from the last 4 games in the first half. He had 7 all in the last 4 games. He's got 6 in the first quarter and a half. As you can see what the mission was and where we stand, as we took a stance, and KAJ RYLEY's probably seething on the sidelines right now, but hey, he can seethe. We'll keep on succeeding right now as 14-0, and UMass doesn't really know what hit them right now, as they go with a run play, and that's not going to get very much. 5 yards on the play, 2nd down. This one a little bit better, 1st down and more, and he's got 12 on the play as UMass looking to finally really find some points here. They're 2-4 on the season. If they want to climb to bowl eligibility, they gotta win this game. Going to 2-5 doesn't really spell any sort of success for your hopes of making a bowl game. Meanwhile, for NIU, sitting at 4-3, this is a real pivot game. The difference between 4-4 and 5-3, not just in the stance of, you know, how good your season could be, but if you want to compete for a conference championship, it's big to win this game, and that's why you make the change now to try to spark something new. As a touchdown for UMass makes it a 14-7 game, but a minute to play, and look at this, a little QB keeper, drop the middle at DeVoe. The run blocking phenomenal there, and I feel like this team just seems a little bit more rejuvenated right now. DeVoe stops, throws it. It's a little bit of a wobbler and floating up there. He doesn't have much zip on the ball, but it does get completed to Kendrick, and Kennedy with 30 seconds to play, down for a 3rd and 7 at the 12-yard line, as DeVoe is gonna roll. DeVoe's got just enough speed to get away, and he throws it on the run for the end zone, and it's over everybody's head, as they'll send out the field goal unit, and the kick is good. Make it a 17-7 first half lead for the Huskies, as I think, you know, you could definitely see the differences with JD DeVoe on this team, and you could see 124 rushing yards for this NIU offense, a lot of them from DeVoe, but you could see the clear differences. They are vastly different players, and, you know, I would say DeVoe maybe fits the idea of what this team wants to do a little bit more while being less talented and definitely less in the arm strength department. You know, it is definitely clear when you see both players throw the ball, who throws it with zip, who throws it with anticipation, who throws it with just great precision at times in KAJ RYLEY, but decision-making is a part of it. This is not just a physical game, it's a mental game too. And KAJ RYLEY just doesn't have that. So 3rd down and 2 for the Huskies defense. A nice stop. And that's going to be a great way to start the second half, as Kennedy is going to get 4 yards on the play. 3rd down and 6 for DeVoe, who's going to throw it over the middle. It's Jackson Warren. He's a yard shy. 4th and 1. And the offense is actually sending themselves back out onto the field. Direct to Kennedy. And he's got the first down. Bold to go for it inside your own 30, but a 4th and 1. And we just trust our guys right now as DeVoe rolling. He'll just keep it and run for 4 yards. 3rd down and 5. It's a little pump draw. Orlando sheds a tackle, and Lee Orlando gets the first down. That's impressive as we stick to him. Orlando, nice hole opened up, cuts into the outside. Didn't need to do that, but he'll get 4 yards regardless. 2nd down as DeVoe passes to Leanne, and there it is, a catch for Leanne. Now 4th and inches as they go direct snap to Kennedy again, and a first down again. Running out some serious clock. This has been a long drive already for a drive that's only just crossed midfield. 3rd down and 10 as they go play action. DeVoe, it's going to be chucking it deep, and a jump ball. Obama, it's over his head. Now we'll have to punt it, but I mean, at the very least, you took some time off and flipped the field positions, as that's going to be a nice play from Duggar to shrug off a tackle, get a first down, as they'll go goal line on 2nd and 8. And maybe I don't love the decision there, but I love it for our defense to get a 2-yard loss, as Duggar is going to go on 3rd down and 10. Flag is down. It's caught, and Makari Swain got, I guess, just beat on that one. But it's a flag, so we don't really got to worry about it, because this one is coming back. And finally, when UMass does something on offense, it gets taken away. 3rd down and 20, they'll go screen, and yeah, that's just not happening. Loss of 1, Alea down there for the tackle, and the punt from their own 19-yard line. It's not a good one. Obamanu's going to field it at the 45, and he'll find a little bit of room, get past the UMass 40-yard line, and flip the field to immediately put us right on the fringe of field goal range. And a little bubble screen now. Obamanu, first down for a gain of 15. Under a minute to play in the 3rd. Hand off to Orlando, who's got 4 more. It's just been consistent. 4-yard gains at the minimum for this rushing attack, because Roxy Kennedy is not going down with just weak little arm tackles. Last play of the 3rd quarter, play action. DeVoe rolling. He's going to weave through, and that's a nice job to read his blocks, and DeVoe has got 9 on the scramble. 3rd down and 2 from the 3. It's Kennedy, and he's stopped in the backfield. 4th down and 3, and the offense still out there. DeVoe to the air, and he's got Roxy out of the backfield. Touchdown, Huskies. It's 24-7, and both sides of the football are doing doing their job, and they're doing it pretty well right now. With just 9 minutes to play, deep pass, it's T.Y. Harden for UMass down the field inside the 30 as they are in desperation mode, down by 3 scores in this fourth quarter as Duggar goes down. Frank Stein with the sack. 3rd and 20 as Duggar, he's got time. Someone's got to get open, but no one does. Another sack. It's 4th and 26, and UMass just got to throw one up, and he's got the first down. That's a little disappointing on the defensive side to not even get a man down there on that tight end. But regardless, it's goal to go, and over the middle, Harding, touchdown! And UMass maybe not done quite yet. 10-point game with 6 minutes to play as Kennedy on the ground. He'll slip through, get 5 yards on the play, 3rd down and 6 to go with a man in motion. Pass thrown, Leanne, that's not the best ball. When he threw that, Leanne had some space if he threw it a little bit more out in front, but you know, you just gotta have to deal with stuff like that with JD DeVoe as UMass is going to fumble the football, but it goes out of bounds. Kind of felt like your opportunity to end the game there. I mean, 10-point lead with 5 minutes to play. You get the ball back in scoring position. Probably would have been done for if you're UMass, but 4th down and 5, they get to keep things going a little bit longer here as Duggar is gonna scramble for the first down. Right now, NIU just trying to play a little bit more of a bend, don't break defense. Don't allow anything crazy. Keep them in bounds. Keep that clock moving. You trust your offense, even if you do get the football back at a 1-score game, to get this game put away. But UMass with a big play down the middle and trying to pull themselves with their 1 score. Harden, I mean, you have the football in field goal range. You can kick it now, but they're going to go for the touchdown first. It makes sense as Harden is been their guy, and they go back to him. And Harden's well over 100 yards on the game. Under 3 to play. He's going to go down the middle, and it's T.Y. Harden again. Touchdown. And UMass cuts into a 1-score game with just under 3 to play. All their timeouts. And now NIU, hey, you got to put this one away. You can't let them slip themselves back into a chance to steal this game. Timeouts used in a 1st down gain. Now a handoff to Roxy. And Roxy Kennedy is met right at the line. 3rd down and inches will take it as they're going to go with a little fake handoff. Orlando tackled. And they're going to go send the offense back out there. It's bold. It's risky. And DeVoe, guess who? Jalen Leanne is gonna end it. And that was as risky of a call it gets, but what a show of faith in your first game as a quarterback. The show of faith you gotta have to go and send him out there in a 4th down situation to ice a game. That is incredible faith and a show of confidence, not just in this team, but in this quarterback, JD DeVoe. You wanted to give him the opportunity to put this game away. You did, and he finds Jalen Leanne in a massive play to end it. As Julian Duggar, 19 to 22, really impressive game from him. The defense was just kind of playing it safe, though, in the second half. I'm not going to really be too hard on them. Roxy goes for 97 yards on the ground. DeVoe goes for 58. And Jalen Leanne had more catches than every other receiver on this team combined. 9 for 112. Welcome back, Jalen Leanne, to being this team's superstar player. We love to see it. And we love to see also a 5-3 record, 1 game shy of bowl eligibility. I think we're not too worried about the potentials of bowl eligibility. If we don't win 1 more game the rest of the season, it'd be pretty shocking. But hey, I have to be really, excited about what this team is looking like after this game, because with JD DeVoe, it could have been a disaster. It could have been brutal. It could have been rough. I mean, he clearly is a worse quarterback than KAJ RYLEY, but he did the right things. He didn't make too many mistakes. He did what he had to do. His talent kind of showed that he isn't really going to be able to make all the plays, but he did what he had to. As we switch over to some other notable prospects, obviously we already got eyes on JJ Comella. How about some of the other players? Sean Oden, who's starting at Alabama in his 2nd season at cornerback. Remember him. He had a phenomenal game. You could probably say his best career game. Alabama taking on a top 15 Florida team. 49-10, your final. Bama 7-1. Oden, 5 pass breakups, a phenomenal day. Even set up his teammate there with a little tip interception, but he was incredible. 5 pass breakups, 5 tackles, and the tackle for loss, and Oden having his really big coming out party performance on the road in the SEC. Bama, one of the top 5 teams in the nation. And speaking of teams that are on fire right now, a team that we've already ran into this year, Blaze Carlyle in his Colorado squad, 8-0 right now after a win over West Virginia, where Carlyle had his big performance, 19 carries, 167 yards, and a touchdown. He's been doing a lot better with not just trying to swing for the fences and get big home run hits, just kind of accepting 7, 8, 9 yard carries, and even the shorter carries that could eventually work a defense down to where you can hit the big hitter, and eventually having to chase down a sprinter athlete like Blaze Carlyle all day. He finally did hit the big hitter, a 68-yard touchdown over this West Virginia squad. They blow them out, and like I said, 8-0 for Colorado, so doesn't look too bad of a loss for us, because remember, we got messed up by Colorado earlier on the season, and you know, they weren't doing too hot when it came to their overall rankings or anything. They weren't coming off a great season, but it seems like Colorado's really found their step, and Blaze Carlyle being a reason for that. So you look back on it, not too bad of a loss to be blown out by them. So we'll be moving on to our next game. 5-3 versus 4-4, Central Michigan on the road, as we continue to try to push forward in this MAC conference standings, as Jaden Glasser, the quarterback, 1,900 yards, but he's had a rough season. 53 completion percentage, 10 touchdowns, 6 picks. It's not been the quarterback that has been really doing its thing for Central Michigan. It's been more on the ground. And speaking of quarterbacks too, KAJ RYLEY has been really isolating himself pre-games. He wasn't really with the team. Throughout the week, he wasn't really with the team. He's now on the sidelines, helmet off, just kind of sulking. I mean, we went from seething to now he's sulking, and I think this team has kind of moved on from KAJ RYLEY very quickly, and this team is moving on from the defensive side of the football. It's Makari Swain with an interception, and that's another big play for this defense. Makari Swain had a really big start of the year, been a little bit since he's caught an interception, but a 4th one of the season, I believe, for him, as this offense, after last week, has put themselves #1 in the MAC this year in rushing. And, you know, it's no surprise. J.D. DeVoe's going to help make this team even better on the ground. Not so much through the air, though. A little bit of a dirt ball thrown there, and Kendrick not able to reach and grab that one. But, you know, for the Central Michigan team, another team that's really trying to find themselves not just in bowl contention, but if you want to compete in the MAC championship, 4-4, you probably got to win out if you're Central Michigan, so this is pretty must-win for them. And for us, I mean, Buffalo's kind of resided at the top last year and this year, and we are trying to see if we can meet them eventually in that MAC title game. And Makari Swain with another 3rd down pass breakup, and NIU takes over. DeVoe to the air, he's throwing it deep, it's Jalen Leanne! And what a play, what a throw! Leanne has it in the red zone, and we are just so happy to have plays like those back, as even though the arm is not there, it's not strong, occasionally he'll throw a good one like that. And now inside the 10-yard line from the 4, handing it off, Roxy Kennedy, touchdown, Huskies! And we're having a little bit of fun right now, because this ground game is just too good right now with Roxy, Orlando, DeVoe, and look at the broken tackles from Central Michigan's ground game. It's their strength as well, like I said, but I mean, if you get a little too far up, which this team is just dominating on defense, and eventually this offense is going to keep on moving and wearing this Central Michigan defense down, because they've been on the field for most of this game. Yeah, it's not looking good already early on, as that pass Leanne too far out. You get plays like that, though. 2 3rd downs that have been kind of failed due to poor throws from J.D. DeVoe. You're going to get those inconsistent moments, but I think overall you're pretty satisfied with the first 5 quarters, as now we start the second quarter. Another 3 and out from Central Michigan, and Roxy goes for 9 yards on the play. Staying in the pistol, 3rd down and 1. Roxy sheds the tackle and gets another 1st down. As now I formation, it's Lee Orlando, and he finds a little bit of room, and Orlando is gonna get 8. I think the defined roles of this backfield have really been set too. Roxy kind of gets the 60% of the load, and Lee Orlando gets about 40%. I think that's a pretty fair split between the two, as that pass right down the middle, Jackson Warren, and he finds the big body tight end. And now a little read option as J.D. DeVoe gets 6 yards on the play, and DeVoe sweeps it. Lee Orlando spinning off a tackle tackler, and Orlando inside the 10. He's at the 7-yard line. DeVoe, clean pocket. There's Jackson Warren. Touchdown, Huskies. 14-0, and it has been all Huskies so far today as the pitch out, and Central Michigan finally getting a big play on the ground. There's about 20 on the play, 12 carries, 53 yards. They're running it a lot, but plays like this really hurt them. Another 3-yard loss on the ground, as now they'll go end around, trying some trickery. It was blown up on both sides, and Masarena comes in with a tackle for a loss. I really want to shout out what Masarena Alea has been doing today, not just in the Central Michigan game, but he had some nice plays in the Minnesota game, nice plays in the UMass game as well. Alea has really broken out, and it has been faster than anticipated. And speaking of faster than anticipated, it's Leo Orlando spinning down the field for the 7-yard line. Another goal to go. Design rollout. DeVoe, he can keep it. He will. He's in. Touchdown. JD for the TD, and it's 21-0. NIU is putting on a show in front of the Central Michigan audience and trying to cruise to 6 wins on the season as another tackle for loss. Chambliss this time. Everybody get in on the fun. 3rd down and 7. Collins with the pressure. Alba with the tackle. Gain of 4 and another punt. And it just feels like both of the sides of the football are just feeding off of one another, because even the defense is playing better as a result. And maybe just KAJ RYLEY just needed to go far, far away for this team to get a lot better. As the deep ball, Jackson Warren leaps up and snags it. And that's what you put up a football for a 6'8" tight end to go in high point, as it's 3rd down and 12, under a minute to play in the half. DeVoe, play action. There's Seti Almira reaching up and snagging that one. 2 yards out, 48 seconds to play, and it's Jalen Leanne, touchdown! And Leanne back-to-back games with the score. And you already had that big 60-yarder, and Leanne kicking down the door in this one, as it's 28-0 at 40 seconds to play in the half. And just what do you do if you're Central Michigan? You can't just do anything. It feels like this defense has been playing its best game of the season. The offense is playing clean. That pass caught. Alea was in coverage. That's just not much you can really do there. It's just a great catch as Central Michigan out of the backfield. Tackle, timeout, last one used. 3rd down and 2. 12 seconds to play. And a sack. Frank Sty is going to end the half. No points on the board as a 28-0 halftime score. Wow, just what a performance. Frank Sty getting the highlight there for that sack at the end of the half, but I want to highlight everybody. I can't really think of much that's gone wrong in this game. Everybody's played well. Haven't seen much in the penalty department either. And Lee Orlando, we're starting off the second half with a big run for Lee. He's got 89 yards on just 6 carries. Kennedy stopped in the backfield, but it does look like it's more Lee Orlando's day to succeed. Screen on 3rd and long, just dirts the ball basically. I mean, could have thrown the screen, I guess, but I mean, we're not really going to nitpick too hard, as look at who it is. Masarena tracking down that bubble screen. I mean, Masarena has really taken the football so well. Remember, he is just like in his 4th year of football. Like, he didn't even know what the sport was, and there he is making another tackle. I mean, he didn't even know what the sport was a couple of years ago. He didn't even start playing until midway through high school. And here he is, just making plays all over the field as Roxy Kennedy takes the football back over. And you know, you're already up by 28, and what do you do when you're a run-first team in this situation? You can get on the ground and start putting in some work, and you got 3 guys to try to cover on the ground now with JD DeVoe with a 6-yard read option play. Hand off to Kennedy, another 1st down. Just keep racking them up. 2nd down and 9, run again, Orlando, and that's going to be 9 more, 3rd and inches. Orlando's over 100 yards. It'll be a keeper for him. He's not going to get there. It's 4th and 1. Why not send the offense back out there, direct snap, and hey, Central Michigan actually making a 4th down stand. Another end around, and that's not going to work. It didn't work left, it didn't work right, and I don't think it's going to work at all. As a pop pass, 3rd and 11, and that's going to get them 10, 4th and 1. That'll be enough to try to set up a field goal. Kick is no good, and they just wanted something to be positive about, but no, you still got no points on the board. DeVoe is sacked, though, 2nd and 19. As DeVoe, you got to get a little bit better on those screens, but how about this? No, it's it's over his head. You see, the ball was a little too far, but Jalen Leanne just had about a 70-yard touchdown missed. And that is just a little disappointing, at least for the statistics. Not really so much for the result of this game, maybe, but we could have had a Jalen Leanne 70-yard touchdown, but it's just unfortunate that that got missed like that. And that's going to be, once again, some of the downsides of JD DeVoe. But we'll take all the upsides that he brings us, because I think even he has played better than I would have anticipated these first two games, as this third quarter is going to come to an end with another loss of yardage. We'll go to 3rd down and 7. They get a stiff arm, and that's a nice run for a first down. But, I mean, there's just not been much to really be positive about for the Central Michigan team. They are, I mean, breaking some tackles here at least. We're not really sweating it too hard, though. It's basically garbage time for them. I don't anticipate us blowing a 28-0 lead with 8 minutes to play. And they're at the 33-yard line, 3rd down and 5. It'll be a little keeper on the veer, and he's got the first down, and they are inching closer to the red zone. 17-yard line now. Here they go. Pop pass, gets a block, and he's got them inside the 5-yard line. Goal to go. Now they move it to the 2, handing it off, and there you go. Central Michigan touchdown, finally, as they go onside kick, and that is picked up. So we will have the football at the 48-yard line, handing it off. Here you go. Roxy is able to just slip through for 10 more yards. This ground game, I mean, my goodness, it is just so dangerous. And here you go, Miles Kendrick underneath, wide open. And Kendrick slipping through for more yards. And this team can really start to run the clock out even more as they do. A couple of runs, another first down, and the game is over, 28-7. And it was literally just one final garbage time drive for a touchdown for Central Michigan, where this rushing offense, though, put up a whopping 200 rushing yards. And for this Central Michigan team, I mean, under 100 total passing yards. That is impressive. JD DeVoe didn't have a crazy game. I mean, 10 for 19 isn't great, and he missed a 70-yard touchdown, but even with the mistakes, he still performed well enough to win this game comfortably. The run game did its job, and you know, that's part of this. It's, you know, it's not about the best players, it's about the best fits, the best situations, the best decision makers. DeVoe made generally the right decisions. He just didn't always execute them properly because he's just not as talented. But decision making is just as important. The mental is just as important as the physical, and I think that's what this last couple of games has really illustrated for us. You could be 6'5" with a cannon arm and all the physical talents in the world, and it may not matter. But you can be a 6'3", weaker armed, just more of a athlete at the quarterback position, and it can work out for us. So I think JD DeVoe has done what he needs to do, at least in these first two games. I know UMass and Central Michigan, not the most imposing opponents in the world, but I think he's done enough to at least keep this starting job. It's not been a disaster like you maybe feared it could be. I think JD DeVoe was the right decision, and I think he's proving us right so far. For KAJ RYLEY, you could probably guess what he's probably thinking at this point, but we'll continue on, and we'll see how things continue to develop as we go to recruiting, where we have another story to talk about. And I guess part of the theme of this video has been, hey, it's not always about the size and the physical talent. It's about skill. It's about the mental. It's about what you do with what you have. And Douglas McCoy is an embodiment of what you do with what you have, because he's a cornerback on the outside for the state of Wisconsin. Not really played much of any nickel corner, despite you look at his stature, 5'9", 180 pounds. You're thinking that is a nickel corner through and through who can't really do much. But no, he's a full-time outside corner, and the word you use to describe him, he is scrappy. He will get in your face. He's got that just, you know, ignoring how big he is, he plays big. That is basically the big thing here. He is a little guy who plays big, and you can see these matchups. He's on a much taller receiver than him, and he is making plays. He will get up there and get in your face, as he also is able to hold up on the outside. It's not like he's some liability, and it's if you throw a 6'2" guy at him, he will go out there and he won't really bat much of an eye at it. He's got pretty good ball skills as well. He is able to pinpoint and high point his jumps to maximize how high up there he can get. But, you know, being a 5'9" outside cornerback is going to give you some limitations inherently. And when you play against higher levels of competition, it's going to come out in pretty rough ways. I mean, go and look at some of the players that we've already talked about. You think of one last year, Coco Reynolds is a, AJ Green comp type of receiver. You go and put him on there, he's going to be a 5-star receiver. I don't care how good you are as Douglas McCoy. Some guys are just going to be bigger, faster, taller, stronger than you, and that's why he's sitting here as a 4-star player. And also, despite being this player who is really short and small and he gets in your face, yeah, he'll go and make tackles, yeah, but because of that, he'll throw his body out there and he'll get injured a couple of times. He's had some little dings here and there, no significant injuries, but when you got a 180-pound player who throws his body around, you do worry about injuries for sure. And for a guy, like I said at the start, you anticipate nickel to be where he plays. He's not played much nickel, so if you want to put him there, you're going to have to develop that aspect of his game. But I overall think Douglas McCoy is a really cool player, and one of those players who really embodies the, it's all about what you do with what you have and not just trying to ride out on talent alone. So you go, and we wrap things up here, and we have JD DeVoe, who, when you look at the stats comparisons, the completion percentage is pretty similar. The yards per attempt, though, slightly in the favor of JD DeVoe. I know the sample size is lower, but also DeVoe in the 2 games, just 1 sack taken. I mean, there's some good stuff here. And I think the biggest thing that you can look at for, yeah, that's really good, is what it was meaning for Jalen Leanne to make a bit of a comeback here and resume the type of player that he has been for us. Jalen Leanne on the season is maybe not on pace to hit the same highs as he did last year due to those 4 games, but I mean, for a guy who had 10 catches, 8 catches, 7 catches, then went 4 games straight with only accumulating 7 total catches, now he's back. 9 grabs on the day, 5 grabs against Central Michigan, a touchdown in each game, a big play in each game, and if it wasn't for a little bit of an overthrow, he would have had a 70-yarder to add on top of things. So getting Jalen Leanne back going was what we really wanted to do. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think of who this team's quarterback is for the future. Will it be JD DeVoe? Should Roy Tiffin get an opportunity? Should KAJ RYLEY come back? I don't know. I don't know about all that, but what should be this team's future at the quarterback position? How do you grade JD DeVoe's performance? And if this dude is the right guy for this team, at least for this season. We don't know what the next season has, what the portal and the recruiting has for us, though. But I hope you guys all enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe, as all that stuff is super helpful. And I will see you guys all in the next one.